Hello, everybody. The Anglican Communion today remembers the martyrdom of Yunani Luwum. He was the Archbishop in Uganda when Idi Amin was instigating a reign of terror to establish his authority. Thousands, tens of thousands of people were killed by him. And Yunani Luwum, as an archbishop, spoke out bravely against this reign of terror. And he's now honoured among the 20th century martyrs that are in that row of statues along the front of Westminster Abbey. The story goes that he went to deliver a note of protest to the offices of the president and was arrested on this day in 1977. He was taken to a detention centre where he was thrown in with lots of other prisoners and stripped of his archiepiscopal robes. But when he was recognised by the other prisoners, they asked if he would give them a blessing, and the soldiers guarding them went along with this, gave him his archiepiscopal clothing back again, put it on. He gave them a blessing, and then they took him out and shot him. The soldiers. It was said that he died in a car crash on the way to the interrogation centre, but when his body was returned to his family quite a bit later, it was riddled with bullets, so clearly he had been murdered, and so became a Christian martyr. What happened next was that the cathedral on top of a hill, they built made a grave for him, and were wanting to celebrate his funeral on this particular day, but they didn't have the body. So the congregation, a couple of thousand apparently, came out of the cathedral and stood around the grave, empty grave, and started singing, led by the Archbishop Sebeke, the Yunani Luwum's predecessor, and they sang songs of Christian songs of celebration, and the singing was so loud and so and word got round that Christians, people who were worshipping on this particular Sunday in all sorts of other churches all over the city, small communities, larger ones, they left their churches and all came and gathered around the empty grave, singing and praising God and celebrating the life of their martyred archbishop. And they sang for 5 hours in celebration of his life. I just today, in remembering Yunani Luwum, want to be part of that crowd of people who want to say to those who want to institute authoritarian regimes and think they can demean and oppress human beings by their violent government, that you won't win. That the power of that singing says, ultimately, it is the courage and bravery and love of people like Yunani Luwum that is triumphant. And it's today. Today's the day for celebrating that fact.